Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I will be telling you guys about the requirements as well as the documentation needed for teaching English in Asia, to be specific, teaching English in China. So I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible so that someone who's not even familiar with the process can somewhat follow along. I did make some notes over here, so hopefully that's gonna help with the coherency of this video. And just a disclaimer, guys, I will not be held responsible for anything, because at the end of the day, whatever information you get, it is your responsibility to check the facts or to double check the information. With that being said, I do hope that this video will help someone out there, because I know with myself, yes, all the information is out there on Google, whatever platforms, but I felt like it's kind of like scattered in different places and sometimes it can feel a bit vague. So I think this video is just going to try and put those things together, but once you understand it, it's not that much of a complicated process. And I do know that sometimes, like when you join groups, whether it's a Facebook or WhatsApp or WeChat or whatever group it is, or when you ask people do prefer that by the time you ask them questions, like you ask after having done a bit of research, after having like tapped your fingers on the search button, whether it's Google or YouTube, whatever. I want to make two parts, so this will be part one, and then part two I will be highlighting more on the tips of things that you can do to help the process. For example, tips for an introduction video or CV or anything of the sort. By the way, guys, English is not the only subject you can teach in China as a foreigner. You can teach any other subject like arts, maths, sciences, whatever you want to teach. But currently I do know that English is the most popular one, especially by foreigners. So let's start with the requirements in order to teach English in China. Mainly two requirements. The first one is the age range. The legal working range in China is from about 18 or 19 all the way to 60 years old for men, and 18 or 19 all the way to 55 years old for women. But with that being said, there is a preference for people that are from 22 years old to 45 years old. You guys can imagine, especially when dealing with kids, they do want someone that is like more, they want someone that's going to be energetic or just something of that sort. But as long as you're within the age range of about 18, 19 to 55, 60, and you want to apply, definitely apply, because you still fall in the required criteria. Okay. Number two, you have to be from one of the English native countries, which are identified as the US, the UK, Canada, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. So if you are not from one of these 7 countries, you would be classified as a non-native English speaker. Just by the way, when it comes to this whole native, non-native thing, I know it can be a bit confusing, because I know some of you guys will know people that are classified as non-native that are teaching English in China. So even me myself, I know non-natives that are teaching English in China. So maybe I can explore that on a different video if that is something of interest to you guys, because currently I do not have too much information on that. But if you guys are interested in that, I could do some research. So now heading over to the documents that are needed. You need to have a 120-hour TEFL certificate or a TESOL certificate. TEFL is a Teach English as a Foreign Language certificate, or a TESOL certificate. I'll write down the meaning of the acronym TESOL. And then you need to have a bachelor's degree in any. When I say any, I mean any field. In any field, whether it's in arts, in science, in whatever it is. I myself have a bachelor's degree in the science field. Obviously do have more leverage of getting a better school or like better benefits if you have a bachelor's degree in education, or if you have a teaching license. And something that I found out a little bit later, I don't know why I did not know this, is that if your undergraduate degree is in anything besides education, you can still get a teaching license by doing your PGCE, which is your postgraduate certification in education. And then from there you can apply to get your teaching license. I had no idea. I didn't find this out like yesterday. I found out a while ago, but when back then, like when I was doing my degree, I never knew. I always thought a teaching license has to be for someone that got a B.Ed. you know, but whatever. So TOEFL certificate, a bachelor's degree in any field, you need a police clearance or non-criminal record from your home country, and you need a passport, a valid passport. It needs to be valid for about the next 6 months and needs to have about 2 blank pages. But guys, if I'm being honest, when it comes to passports, I would advise that your passport even be valid for longer than 6 months, because even when you get here and you are going to need time to settle and adjust whatever, and after 6 months I don't think you want to be focusing on just like getting a new passport, like, because it's not overnight. It's something that you actually have to wait for and apply for, da, da, da. So yeah, even me, my passport upon arriving was valid for quite some time. If it was only valid for 6 months, I think I would have just gotten a new one, but that's my personal opinion. If it is valid for just 6 months, you are still good to go. And then you need to get your medicals done, because here in China, there are some illnesses or viruses that if you have them, you are not eligible to teach legally in China, to teach English legally in China. And I know one of those things are HIV and STIs. I don't know which STIs they look for specifically, but I know that syphilis is one of them. I can maybe try and link the medical health check form in the description box. If I didn't link it, leave me alone, guys. But I'm going to try and link it below. I thought I'd actually have it with me, but it's fine. I'll link it in the video below. And so those are the documents that you need: your TOEFL, bachelor's degree in any field, your police clearance certificate or non-criminal record, valid passport, as well as your medical check. So you do your medical check in your home country, but when you arrive in China, they are going to do it again. I know some people that arrived in China without doing their medical check, but I feel like even if a school does let you get away with that, I think it's just an unnecessary risk, because at the end of the day, you should know that you are cleared medically before you leave your country. Like, imagine getting that surprise in China, like after all that effort, the time, the mental and emotional investment, financial investment, after everything, I feel like just get it done in your home country, even if you're dealing with a lenient school. Okay, before I carry on, something like your TOEFL certificate, for those that don't know, the Teach English as a First Language, you can obviously check it out on Google, find out from people, you know. For me, I got my TOEFL certificate when I was back home in South Africa, because there was a time whereby I was teaching English online for a company that had offices back home. So that company required us to have a TOEFL certificate. So we didn't pay anything. It was just an online course that did not take a lot of time. When I say it does not take a lot of time, I don't mean like 1 day or 2 days. Compared to other certifications, I felt like it's a very decent amount of time. Like, you can even do it in a month, depending on how much time you have. If you don't have that much time on your hands, you could take more than a month to do it. But it's a certification that also just helps you to prepare for teaching English as a second language in China. In order to apply for teaching English in China, you would need to assemble your documents, of course, but the actual application process, the first step is getting a recruiter. Okay, and the actual process is that you reach out to recruiters, and then you apply with your CV and your introduction video. So in part 2, I'll go in more detail with regards to that. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you have any questions, I would suggest that you first watch part 2, and then from there onwards you can ask questions either on this video or on the part 2 video, and I will definitely get back to you or assist wherever or however I can. Yeah, I'm the type, guys, if I don't know something, I'll tell you I don't know. I'll tell you I don't. Genuinely.